Hello, my name is Kwame Owen. This is English 251 with Dr. Monty, and today I'm going to talk about Washington Irving. Washington Irving was born April the 3rd, 1783 in New York. He also died in New York in a small town called Tarrytown on November the 28th, 1859. He was called the first American man of letters. He is best known for his short stories, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle. He was a short story writer, a biologist, historian, and an essayist. And he had a book called Gregory Crayon. And in that book, it was a sketchbook. And as our textbook now, it is our textbook that we use now is called an anthology, and that's what it was, but it was called a sketchbook. He had all his essays, all his short stories, all his biographies that he's written about people. That was all in one book, and he became a author at a young age. He first started off writing off newspapers, and when he became 37, he became a professional author. But before he became an author, he pursued a career in law and also business. And on the job, which is not right, he wrote on his job. He wrote short stories and books on his job. And he served as a Spain minister. American minister in Spain in the year of 1846 and 1842 and 1846. And today I'm going to talk about Rip Van Winkle. Rip Van Winkle by Washington Irving takes place in the 17th century, New York, during the time of the American Revolution War, when America was freeing itself from the rule of England. The story talks about life without freedom, and it gives settings and clues through symbols to make a point about America and its need for freedom. The story starts 5 or 6 years before the American Revolution and finishes 20 years after. The event takes place beside the river of Houston and the Catskill Mountain. And just a little rundown, quick summary of Rip Van Winkle. Rip Van Winkle was a man who was outgoing, very nice, very charming, and he didn't work around his house, but instead he wanted to work in the neighborhood and help others. And he felt like he was in bondage, working in his own house, keeping up his own garden, which just sounds crazy to me. But that's how he did. And his wife wasn't no better. His wife used to nag him and fuss at him about not doing it. And one day he decided to get away. So him and his dog Wolf decided to walk up a scary mountain, which is called Catskill Mountain, which is known for ghosts and scare stories stuff. And he saw a man that was calling his name. He was scared, and the man was calling his name, and he saw the man struggling with a barrel full of liquor, and he took it. And the man was strange. He had on weird clothes, weird hat, and Rip helped the man with the barrel, and he took the barrel to where the other people were that was dressed just like him, and the man was looking at him kind of crazy. It was like, what is he doing up here? And so the man started to drink the liquor, and Rip decided he wanted to get some of the liquor. And Rip had a little bit too much liquor that night, and he went to sleep. And in my eyes, he passed out. But he thought he woke up the next day, like he just slept through the night. but in nationality. When he woke up, he saw that he had a beard long as whatever, and that his gun that he took with him up the hill was rusted and all dried out, and his dog Wolf was nowhere to be found. And he went down the hill to see that everything was changed and everything was new. He saw new faces, and he so he heard that his wife passed, and when he heard his wife pass, he was happy about it. And I was like, who be happy their wife passed? But this story has a deeper meaning than what it is. It looks like a cartoon, but it really talks about something that's very important, which is the American Revolution. The style and the writing, um, he writes it's a term, it's called allegory. Allegory is a story or poem that is interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning or typical thing that means something else. He tells a story inside of a story. And with Rip Van Winkle, he talks about the Revolution War and things that happen and how the Americans want to be free. So he uses the people that's in the story as symbols about what happened. And those characters are Rip Van Winkle, his wife, his dog, and the people that's on the mountain. And the thing reviewing, and the thing, it talks about freedom and change. And with freedom, it talks about how the Americans want to be free from the English colony, which is also known as the British colony, and how they was this tired of living up under the English colony and doing as what they told they couldn't do anything on their own. So they was tired of it. So they wanted freedom. And with the change, when Rip had woke up, he went down the mountain. He saw everything was changed, and he saw new faces. And it's like that with the American War, how everything was changed after the war. How they lived for themselves. They did everything because they wanted to. They didn't have to listen to anyone else. And like I said, this story is all about symbols. Symbolism is all in the story. Analyzing the characters. The characters in the book is you have Rip, his wife, his 2 kids, and his dog. And the people that's on the mountain, Miss Winkle, which is his wife, she was a woman, a hard working woman who liked to nag. And back in that time period, women was supposed to cook, clean, and keep after the kids, and just keep around the house. And Rip's job was to, like a man, keep up the house, make sure that the garden is taken care of, and make sure there's food on the table. But instead, he didn't want to do that. And his wife used to nag him and fuss with him to try to make him do it, and because she was upset because he wanted to do things for others and talk to the kids. Rip was a friendly man. The kids loved him. He used to tell stories to the kids, and the kids used to love him. And like I said, his wife didn't like that. And his Wolf was Wolf the dog was his wife called him his companion. And the wolf represents the American Indians. And Rip represents the American Indians and also the Americans too. And Miss Winkle represents England. Describing symbolism. as you see on the screen, it said RIP, and it has the same spelling as RIP. And RIP in our age is known for rest in peace. By name of the main character, Rip, the author, is saying that the old ways are dead and gone for good. And talking about the American Revolution, the nagging represents the nagging that his wife did represents the British and how they constantly telling the Americans what to do, like Rip. The Americans may not have wanted to work according to the British laws. And so one day, Rip went up top of the hill, like I said earlier, and he met these men. So the men that he met that's caring was Hendrick Hudson and the crew in his ship. That's what he met on top of the mountain. And on top of the mountain, they down on the village, they was telling stories how men used to say that they used to hear thunder, but it never was thunder. When Rip went on top of the hill, it was a bowling pins, and the bowling pins represent the cannons of how the ships used to blow cannons and used to destroy other ships, and because the war was right on the other side, just a few miles from the village that they was living at. And so they heard everything, full action. And the hotel, which is known before Rip fell asleep, it was known as the Inn in the village. But when he woke up, it was known as the Union Hotel, that was owned by a man named Jonathan Doolittle. Instead of a picture of King George III of England, the hotel had a picture of General Washington in place of the King George III. So it was a very much change after he woke up. And the same thing when instead of Rip waking up, same thing with the British. Not British, but the American Revolution. After the Revolution, everything was changed. It was a different setting. It was a different meaning. The Americans did everything they wanted to do. They wasn't controlled anymore. And the hotel represents freedom. It represents change. And they didn't have to do everything they wanted to, so they was free. And another thing, Rip, when he woke up, he realized that his wife was passed away, and he was so happy because he was free. He didn't have to hear all the nagging anymore. So this story has a lot of symbolism that Washington describes in comparison to one another. And these are my works cited, where I got my information from, and I really hope you enjoy. All right, thank you.